Happy Saturday, or greetings whenever you're joining us. My name is Caitlin, and this is Comeback Yoga's Level 2 Saturday morning class. This month we've been focusing on the present moment. And the present moment is just this concept of being here, accepting wherever we are in this very moment, and bringing our attention to what that moment has for us. And there's so many benefits to focusing on the present moment. Less anxiety, less depression, better sleep, and better pain management are a few. And the mat is an excellent place to practice that because our body and our breath are only here, only ever in the present moment. So when we're tapping into our breath, when we're bringing our attention to the body and sensations that we feel, or the space we are in, we're in the present moment. So we're going to get started in a comfortable seat. And maybe you're sitting like me with your legs in front of you, or maybe you're resting on your shins and knees. You can sit on a block or a pillow, whatever feels good for you. And take a few moments to tap into right now. And if that's hard, that's okay. You might notice the spaces where your body meets the mat. Allow those spaces to fully rest, and perhaps notice that you are fully supported where you rest. And as we practice, just remember that this is your practice. These are the moments you've set aside for yourself. And if ever I'm cueing something that you don't want to do, or you know you'll regret tomorrow, don't do that thing. Know that we will move on. And just remember that pain really isn't a part of yoga. So be kind to yourself and find what feels good for you throughout this practice. Once you've arrived and really feel settled, you might bring your awareness to your breath. There's no reason to change your breath at all. Just notice it. Can you feel your breath moving parts of your body? Can you hear the sound of your breath? Maybe you feel a temperature of air coming in. Maybe there's a different temperature of air coming out. Whatever you notice, just bring your awareness to your breath. And if you like, you might set an intention for this practice, something that you would like for yourself for these moments that we've set aside. And it might just be to stay with my breath. When I first started yoga, and even now, that's usually my intention. Stay with my breath. From here, I'm going to practice our Qigong breath. So I'm going to bring my hands to my sides, palms facing up. I'm going to drop the shoulders down and think about stacking my head over my chest, over my hips, finding this foundation where I rest, and then reaching the crown of the head just a little bit taller, extending the space between the vertebrae. Long, tall spine. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift the hands and just allow them to float upwards. Maybe they come to touch as you inhale, or maybe they just come to any height that feels good. When you're ready to exhale, we're going to flip the palms, press through the heels of the palms as we allow the palms to float down for the length of the exhale. When you're ready to inhale, flip your hands facing up. Allow them to float as you breathe in, filling up with air. And then when you're ready to let go of that air, sending it out, floating the hands down. And it might help to close your eyes or bring your gaze past your nose so that you move with your breath and not mine. Know that I will tell you when we're ready to move on. And if extending your fingers long is too stressful for the shoulders or the arms. We can keep our hands closer to the chest, floating them up as we inhale, pressing them down as we exhale. So take your breaths here for 10 more breaths at your pace, noticing the sensations that you feel. Maybe a tingling in the hands, the arms, the abdomen. Maybe a change in temperature in the joints and muscles as we move. For 5 more breaths, and if you don't notice any sensations, it's okay. Notice the pace at which you wish to move your hands. Notice the length of your breath. For 2 more breaths. Beautiful friends. Now you can always stay here. And if you're ready to move on, we're going to find child's pose. So if you're not already on your knees, I'm going to come through tabletop. My knees are going to be a bit wider than hip width distance, so a little bit closer to the sides of the mat. And then I'm going to bring my big toes together to touch, and I'm going to sink my hips back towards my heels. My hands can walk forwards as my chest comes down towards the mat. And I rest my head on the mat. If you have a block handy or your pillow, you might set it underneath your wrists, creating a little bit more of a stretch in the shoulders. And you can always tense your fingers if that feels good on your hands to find a similar sensation. Maybe this pose is a difficult exercise in staying with the present moment. It's kind of a quiet pose. So find what you need to stay here with your body, with your breath, for 5 more breaths. Perhaps noticing the sensations of the back body stretching, or the front body breathing in and out. For 3 breaths. And of course, if this is where you want to rest, you can stay here. If you're ready to move on, we'll bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, pressing through the palms and then the knees to come up into our tabletop. So now my hands are going to come underneath the shoulders and my knees are going to come underneath my hips, and my feet are reaching towards the back of the mat. So really pressing the mat away with the fingers and thinking about extending the fingers, the 4 fingers as wide apart as they can be, and then the thumb is maybe 2/3 2/3 of the way that it could possibly go. So not too far extended. And we're going to think about pressing into all of the parts of our fingers. So many of our fingers have these 3 kind of segments. Our thumb has 2. So we're going to think about pressing into all of those segments, pressing into the balls of the hands, the bases of the fingers, and then the heels of the palms or the base of the wrist. Pressing the mat away. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears. And then I'm going to drop my belly and point my tailbone and my nose for the ceiling as I breathe in for a cow pose. And maybe you find a yummy stretch in the front body. And when you're ready to exhale from here, we'll round the spine, tucking the chin into the chest and tucking the tailbone, really creating as much space as you can between the shoulder blades, allowing the shoulders to slide to the sides of the back body, rounding the spine. So from here, maybe you move through cat-cow. You inhale to cow, and then exhale, rounding the spine into cat, and then inhale to cow when you're ready, and exhale into cat. Your shoulders might stay still here. They might roll in and out as you move from one position to the next. And then when you feel that your spine has found a good level of movement here, we're going to intentionally listen to what we need in this shape. So we're going to find what we call organic movements, but just maybe you choose different stretches in this position to wake up the hips, check in with the knees, the shoulders. So you might drop the hips from side to side. You might look over one shoulder and then the other. You might bend the elbows. Just for 2 more breaths, noticing what you notice, being a little creative, and checking in with the body here in this pose. So good, friends. Okay, you're doing great. From here, we're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips for downward facing dog. So for down dog, same thing in the palms. We want to press as much of the palms, as much of the fingers into the mat as we can, drawing the shoulders away from the ears towards the tailbone. The tailbone's pointing towards the ceiling. I'm going to release the muscles at the backs of the legs, just allowing the heels to sink wherever they may. Maybe you bend one knee and then the other, dropping the opposite heel to the mat. Maybe you shake your tail feather from side to side, shimmy your shoulders. Whenever you're ready, settle into stillness for 3 breaths in our downward facing dog. Just noticing what you notice with your body in the shape. Okay, friends, from here we're going to move into a forward fold. You can walk your feet towards your hands and fold forward standing up. If you don't want to fold in that way, you can sit on the mat and extend the legs long. So, yogi's choice here. What we're going to do is draw the left hand forward, so as close as it can be to your feet if you're resting on the mat, and it's going to be in front of my feet if I'm standing. And maybe you have a block and it feels better to bring your left hand to your block. Totally up to you. From here, I'm going to bend my left knee and straighten my right leg. And then I'm going to reach my right hand high if I'm standing, or reach my right hand backwards towards the back of the mat if I'm seated. And just know the hand doesn't need to be like pointing to the ceiling. If it feels better, you can keep the hand on the hip, but you really want to point your shoulder, your right shoulder, as high as it'll possibly go if you're standing, and as far back as it'll go if you're seated. Maybe you notice the sensations in the backs of the legs here. It can be pretty intense stretch in the right leg. 2 more breaths. Just finding what feels good here. Really pressing the mat away with both feet, even the bent knee on the left side if you're standing. And then when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So my right hand reaches towards my feet, towards the mat if you're standing, and then my left shoulder points back or up if you're standing. I'm going to bend my right knee, straighten my left leg. Notice the sensations that you feel in this twisted forward fold. 3 more breaths. So beautiful. Okay, from here, I'm going to drop both hands down if I'm standing, and then I'm going to slowly roll up. And if you're seated, I'm going to come to stand on the mat. So we'll meet standing. And then I'm going to bring my weight into my left foot, and I'm going to lift my right leg. Maybe I plant my right foot in front of the left. Maybe I keep it really close to the left on the right side. Maybe I cross it over. It's totally up to you, but you're going to notice a challenge in balancing as we make this foundation smaller. So whatever feels most comfortable for you, find your foundation of your feet, and then I'm going to lift my right hand high. Maybe this is where you stay, breathing into the right side body. Maybe you find a side bend, really pressing the mat away with the feet that are resting on the mat over to the left side. If you have a side bend, you want your bicep drawing towards the ear and not the nose. Breathing into the right side body wherever you are, allowing both shoulders to draw away from the ears. Noticing what you feel in the stretch. One more breath here. So nice, and then we'll switch sides. So I'm going to bring my weight into my right foot. My feet can stay really, really close to one another. My left foot can sneak in front of my right, or maybe I cross my legs. Left hand lifts here. Maybe you stay here, really breathing into the left side body. Maybe you find a side bend over to the right side. For 4 breaths, coming back to your intention, what you want for this time. Knowing whatever you give to your practice, you are giving to yourself. That is good stuff, my friends. Okay, from here, we're going to let it go. I'm going to drop my left hand down. I'm going to uncross the legs. And then I'm going to step to the front of the mat if you're not already. I'm going to step my left foot back for a crescent lunge. I'm going to add a twist. So I have a bend in my right knee. My left heel is popped. I'm going to reach my left hand forward. Right hand comes back. Twisted crescent. 3 breaths here. Settling in. And then from here, we're going to find warrior 2. So I'm going to keep my hands where they are, so extended. I'm going to twist my torso, so now my shoulders are pointing towards the left side of the mat. And then I'm going to bring my left heel down. So really being conscious here of the foundation and checking in with your feet throughout this practice. We're going to be taking different shapes and really moving mindfully, thinking about where we're going and how we need to adjust our foundation and the shape of our torso, the shoulders, the gaze, all those things from our foundation. Okay, it'll make sense as we go. Warrior 2 for 2 more breaths. And then from here, yogi's choice, you can find an extended side angle by reaching the right hand forward and then resting the right forearm against the right thigh. Or you can find humble warrior if you feel up for a balance challenge. I'm going to bring both hands to the mat or a block to the left side of my right foot. And I'm going to allow my head to be heavy. So the foundation of the leg stays the same. And now we're finding a back bend and allowing the weight of our head to maybe open the spine just a little bit. Shoulders are heavy. And if you're an extended side angle, just thinking about stacking the shoulders. Totally up to you. Beautiful. From here, we'll lift into reverse warrior. So I'm going to bring my right hand high, left arm comes down behind alongside the left leg. For 3 breaths. Like breathing into the right side body. And then we'll find our half moon. So I'm going to plant my right hand on the mat in front of my right foot or on the block in front of my right foot. I'm going to bring my weight into my right leg. My left leg is going to sneak up a little further, taking a step forward. From there, I'm going to lift my left foot. Maybe it just hovers. Maybe I can stack my left hip over right as my left heel presses out, left toes are pointing out towards the left side. Come in and out of the shape as you need. So strong. Maybe this is your half moon, and that's great. Then when you're ready, we're going to land our back leg into warrior 2. So strong, everyone. From here, big move. We're going to find a low lunge twist. So from warrior 2, I'm going to plant my left hand beside my right foot, and then my left heel is going to pop up. So my left knee is going to point towards the front of the mat. So do what you need to do. Maybe it feels better to plant the hand first and to then pivot the foot. And then open the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Maybe the right hand follows and lifts. Maybe it finds your hip. 3 breaths here. Noticing the sensations that you feel and checking in with the foundation of the pose. From here, big move, friends. We're going to come up into our twisted crescent. So we'll finish right where we started. Take what you need to lift the torso so that the head is stacking over the hips. The left hand is coming forward and the right hand is reaching back. The foundation of our feet has stayed the same. Breathing in and breathing out. 3 breaths here. Arms are going to stay. Torso pivots into warrior 2. Back heel drops down. Then we're going to rotate towards the back of the mat. So now our warrior 2 is going to point towards the back of the mat. So check in with what you need to do with your feet. I'm going to start with rotating my right toes. And move my block over. I'm going to rotate my right toes so that now they're pointing to the left side of the mat. And I'm going to rotate my left toes so now they're pointing to the back of the mat or the new front. So now I have a bend in my left leg. I'm going to tee out my hands. Warrior 2 on this side. Coming through warrior 2, we're going to find our twisted crescent. So what do you need to do to get to twisted crescent? We're going to rotate the torso, keeping the hands where they are, and then the back heel at some point is going to have to lift. So strong. 4 breaths here. When you're ready, warrior 2, come back. Yogi's choice, extended side angle or humble warrior. Bowing the head, allowing it to be heavy, knowing that the strong foundation that you have in the legs is going to support you. When you're ready to lift your head and find your balance again. So there might be a little bit of a reorientation as we change the direction of the head, and then we'll find a reverse warrior. Left hand, left side. 4 more breaths here. We're going to half moon. So move mindfully, find your half moon, planting the left hand, stepping the right foot forward, maybe lifting the right foot, maybe stacking the right hip over left. Right shoulder points for the ceiling. 3 breaths here to come in and out of the pose. We're coming to warrior 2. Move mindfully, take your time, settle in. You've got it, guys. We're moving into a low lunge twist now. So the back hand is going to come forward and plant beside the front foot. The back heel is going to have to pop up. Get there however you like. Your low lunge twist. 3 more breaths. From here, we're coming into twisted crescent. Take your time, moving with intention. Once you've arrived, 4 more breaths. Right hand is forward, left hand is back. The next pose is warrior 2. Move with intention. Get there your way and settle in for 4 more breaths. When you're ready to move on, we'll find our downward facing dog. Great way to do this is to frame the front foot with both hands, and we're going to pop the back heel up again. So arrive either with your foot or your hands, and then arrive fully. I'm going to step my left foot back, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So strong. 3 breaths here. Remember, child's pose or tabletop are always available to you. When you're ready, we're going to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Right knee is going to come down for lizard pose. I'm going to untuck my right toes as well. So as much of my right leg is resting on the mat as possible. And you might stay here with your hands planted on the mat. You might bring your hands to your front knee. You might bring them to a block to just lift the chest. You can even bring them to your hips. Whatever feels good here, but you might notice a deep hip stretch. Settling in here for 5 more breaths. Making adjustments as you need. And noticing that perhaps the breath can allow us to get through discomfort. Breathing in and breathing out. From here, we'll find half split. So I'm just going to straighten my front leg and bring my hips back. Maybe your front foot points towards the ceiling, the front toes, and the heel rests on the mat. You can stay here with your hands resting on the mat. You can always lift up, hands to hips. Totally up to you. If you draw your chest a little bit towards the mat, you'll find a more intense stretch in the back of your leg. Find what feels good here for 3 more breaths. When you're ready, downward facing dog. Get there however you like, moving with intention. And once you've arrived, 4 breaths here. You've got this. Know that you can always stay here if you're ready to move on. We'll take that on the other side. So I'm going to bring my right foot forward to the right side of my right hand. Left knee comes down. I'm going to untuck my left toes just so I have a lot of support, my foundation here, and I can really allow the hips to open up and stretch a little bit. So find your hand placement, whatever feels best for you. To perhaps notice a stretch in the hips. Allowing your breath to guide you through discomfort and making adjustments, making choices that are kind for yourself as you need. This is your practice. Serve your intention. For 5 more breaths. And when you're ready, we'll straighten the front leg. Maybe your hands come down to the mat. Maybe your chest bows a little bit forward, or maybe your chest stays lifted. Right toes point towards the ceiling. I'm going to square the hips for the mat as much as possible. So right hip comes back, left hip comes forward, shoulders square with the mat as much as possible. Notice what you feel. Stay with your breath. Or with an intention that serves you. Or 3 more breaths. Beautiful. I'm going to frame the front foot, and then I'm going to come to a seat. So get there however feels good for you. I'm going to come through tabletop, walk my knees forward, come to a seat. I'm going to extend my legs long once you've gotten to your seat. Then I'm going to find a bend in the knees, just a gentle bend. Maybe it's really tiny, maybe it's really big, however you feel. Then I'm going to draw my chest towards my thighs to find a forward fold. Once your chest is as close to your thighs as feels good, allow the head to be heavy. Tuck the chin. The hands can stay holding onto the legs, or they can rest on the mat. Just really stretching through the back body. And if you want a deeper stretch for the legs and the hips, you can straighten the legs like this. Using the hands on the mat to support you as you fold forward. So wherever you are, know that that is all good. And stay with your breath for 3 more breaths. This feels really good. You can always stay here. If you're ready to move on, we'll find the mat with our shoulder blades. So come to lie back. I'm going to keep my left leg extended. My right leg is going to come in, and the bottom of my right foot is going to point towards the ceiling. So I'm like shining a flashlight with my foot. Okay, from here, I'm going to reach for the back of my right thigh and then draw the thigh down towards the mat. Maybe you reach for the right foot or the right ankle, however you like. Got a half happy baby here. Noticing the stretch that you feel. And if you don't feel anything, that is okay. Coming back to the pure sensation of your breath. When you're ready, we'll draw the right leg across the left and allow it to rest towards the left side of the mat. The right hip is going to lift over the left. You might tee out or goalpost your hands to either side. You might look over your right shoulder, deepen supine twist. And once you've arrived, see if you can rest. Just allow this stretch to be passive, letting gravity do its work, trusting that you've made a strong pose, good foundation, knowing that you can adjust if you need, but choosing to settle in. For 3 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, going to brace the core first. So draw the navel into spine. Feel that sensation of the navel drawing towards the spine or the ribs and in together. Just activating the core. Notice that sensation. And then allow the right hip to come back down. We're going to bring both knees in up towards the chest. Maybe you rock from side to side. You can let go of the muscles of the abdomen. Maybe you make circles with your knees. Maybe you draw your head up towards your knees. Whatever you need here. Be curious about what would feel best for you and then make that choice. Give it a try. And then we will hold on to the left leg, extend the right leg long. Half happy baby on this side. So I'm really going to point my left foot, the bottom of my left foot for the ceiling. And I think about drawing the top of my left thigh towards the mat. Being curious about releasing tension in the muscles of the legs to just allow this pose to deepen. Maybe you reach for your left foot or your left ankle. Letting go of any expectations and breathing here for 4 more breaths. Allowing the breath to guide you through discomfort, to recommit to poses that are comfortable. When you're ready, we will cross the left leg over the right, left hip stacks over right hip. Tee out or goalpost the arms and find your supine twist on this side. Allowing the legs to be heavy, allowing the hips to settle. Still keeping weight on the left shoulder so that it's resting on the mat. For 5 more breaths. For 3. Beautiful, friends. Notice that sensation of the abdomen tensing here, drawing the navel into spine to support you as you then bring the left hip back down. Maybe you bring your knees in one more time, give them a hug, and then extend the legs long, or find your last shape. So we're going to take a few moments of rest here. In my class today, it's always yogi's choice for this last shape. So maybe you prefer to be lying on one side or the other. Maybe you'd like to rest your legs up against a wall. Maybe you'd like to lay back, shimmying your shoulders together, Create a shelf for your heart. And once you've found your position of rest, from the feet, all the way up through the legs, the hips, the arms, the hands, the shoulders, the torso, and the head. In your own time, let them go. Let every part of you be at rest. You set aside this time for yourself, for these few moments. Complete that time. Make it whole and full and good by resting. We'll take 30 breaths of rest, and then I will bring us together to close out our practice. You might count from 30 back to 1, or you might simply allow the body to be heavy, to feel supported where you rest. Friends, you can always stay here resting. If you're ready to move on, start to deepen your breath, really allowing the belly to fill and get really big, pressing it all out. You might bring some movement into your fingers and toes, your ankles and wrists. You might shimmy the hips or the shoulders, or take a good morning stretch, whatever feels right for you. And when you're ready, if you're not already there, we'll find a comfortable seat, slowly, with intention, close out our practice together. In yoga, often we close in this posture, having our hands together in front of our chest. I like to rub my hands together, create a bit of warmth. I stack them over my heart. You're important already. You always were. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you. Thank you for making this time for yourself. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.